So today we are going to discuss human eye, its structure and function. So pair of eyes located in the orbit of skull, located in the orbit of skull, and eyes are sensory organs, sensory organ of vision. Eyes are sensory organs of vision, and each eye is surrounded by cushion of fat. If this is eye, then each eye is surrounded by cushion of fat. This is cushion of fat layer. This is fat layer, and this fat layer is protective in function. It is protective in function, and also it provides insulation and padding to the eye. So each eye is spherical in shape. It is spherical or rounded in shape, spherical or rounded in shape, and hence it is called eyeball. It is called eyeball due to its shape. Its shape is spherical or rounded, hence it is called eyeball. Okay. There are 6 sets of muscles, that is rectus muscles. There are 6 sets of muscles which control movement of eyeball in orbit. So pair of eyes located in the socket of skull, and that sockets are called orbits. Orbit, that is a special place, that is a specialized location on our skull, and that is called orbit, and in that orbit each eye is located. And eyes are sensory organ of vision. Each eye is surrounded by cushion of fat, that is protective in function, and it provides insulation and padding. Each eye is spherical or rounded in shape, and hence it is called eyeball. There are 6 sets of muscles, rectus muscles: superior, inferior, oblique, lateral. 6 sets of muscles which control movement of eyeball in the orbit of skull. Then very important part, that is wall of eyeball. Wall of eyeball. Wall of eyeball. Wall of eyeball consists of 3 layers. Wall of eyeball consists of 3 layers: sclera, choroid, and retina. Wall of each eyeball consists of 3 layers: sclera, choroid, and retina. Sclera is outermost layer of eyeball, It is outermost layer of eyeball. Choroid is middle layer of eyeball, and retina is innermost layer of eyeball. It is innermost layer of eyeball. So this is the diagram of human eye. It is spherical. So diagram of eyeball, I am drawing this diagram. So this is the outermost layer. It is sclera. Outermost layer of eyeball is sclera. Okay, this is outermost layer, and it is bulge, anterior bulge portion of the sclera is cornea. So this is cornea, this is sclera. Sclera, that is the outermost layer of eyeball. Okay, so I have completed this layer, sclera. It is intact and it is complete layer. So this is outermost layer of eyeball and it is sclera. Here is the optic nerve. So this will be optic nerve. So outermost layer of eyeball is sclera. So this is sclera. Okay, this is sclera. And anterior bulge portion, bulge and transparent portion of sclera, it's cornea. This is cornea. Okay, this is cornea. Anterior bulge portion or anterior bulge part of sclera is cornea. This is cornea. So sclera, it is the outermost layer of eyeball and it is made up of fibroelastic. It is made up of fibroelastic connective tissue. Sclera is made up of fibroelastic connective tissue. It is outermost layer of eyeball. It is made up of fibroelastic connective tissue containing collagen fibers. Containing collagen fibers. It consists of collagen fibers. You know that collagen fibers are present in the connective tissue. There are two types of fibers, collagen fibers and elastin fibers. So collagen fibers, these are responsible for strength and toughness. So this is outermost layer of eyeball and it is called sclera. It is vascular. It is vascular, means it is supplied with blood vessels. It is supplied with blood vessels. Okay. So it is made up of fibroelastic connective tissue. It contains collagen fibers and it is vascular layer. See, anterior thick transparent, and this is anterior thick transparent portion of sclera is cornea. What is the cornea? Cornea, it is a part of sclera. Cornea is the part of sclera, but it is anterior bulge, transparent and thick part of sclera. Okay, So this is the outermost layer of eyeball, sclera. Sclera is intact, sclera is complete. Sclera is made up of fibroelastic connective tissue with collagen fibers. It is vascular, means it is supplied with blood vessels. And anterior bulge, transparent and thick part of sclera is cornea. It is cornea. This is cornea. Cornea is the part of sclera which is transparent and which is non-vascular. Means cornea is devoid of blood vessels, means blood vessels are absent in cornea. It lacks blood vessels. Here blood vessels are absent. That's why it is transparent. So it is transparent. It is bulge. Why it is bulge? Why it is transparent? It is bulge and it is transparent for focusing of light. On the retina. So it is transparent and it is bulge for focusing of light on retina, because innermost layer of eyeball is retina. Then, so how this cornea gets nutrition? Because it is devoid of blood vessels. Here blood vessels are absent in the cornea. So how it is nourished? So cornea get nourished by lacrimal secretion. It is nourished by lacrimal secretion and aqueous humor. You know that lacrimal glands are there. Lacrimal glands are also called tear glands. Lacrimal gland secretes. Secretion of lacrimal gland is tears, and this cornea is nourished by lacrimal gland secretion as well as by aqueous humor. So what is this aqueous humor? So here eyeball is present, and in front of eyeball, so I will draw it later. So in front of eyeball there is a cavity, and this cavity is aqueous chamber, and that cavity is filled with clear transparent watery fluid which is called aqueous humor. So cornea is nourished by aqueous humor, that is a watery fluid which is present here, okay, and cornea is nourished by lacrimal secretion, isn't it? Understand? So exposed part of sclera and entire cornea, exposed part of this part of sclera is exposed part of sclera and cornea is covered by a thin transparent membrane called conjunctiva. So this is conjunctiva. It is conjunctiva. This is conjunctiva, okay. So conjunctiva is a thin transparent membrane. It is thin transparent membrane, and cornea, entire cornea and exposed part of sclera is covered by conjunctiva. So in front of cornea, conjunctiva is present. Conjunctiva, right? So this is conjunctiva. So conjunctiva is a thin transparent membrane. It is thin transparent membrane, and this cornea and exposed part of sclera is covered by conjunctiva. Then function of conjunctiva. Conjunctiva provides lubrication and protection. Conjunctiva provides lubrication and protection to cornea, isn't it? So what is the function of conjunctiva? It provides lubrication and protection to cornea. Function of sclera is it is protective in function. It protects internal parts of eyeball. So human eyeball is spherical in shape and its wall is made up of 3 layers. Outermost layer is sclera, middle layer is choroid, innermost layer is retina. Sclera is outermost layer of eyeball. It is made up of fibroelastic connective tissue with collagen fibers. It is vascular. Its anterior transparent thick bulge part is cornea. Cornea is transparent and cornea is covered by thin transparent membrane, that is conjunctiva. Conjunctiva lubricate the cornea and it also provide protection to the cornea. So sclera is vascular. It is supplied with blood vessels, but cornea is devoid of blood vessels. In the cornea, blood vessels are absent. So we have completed sclera and middle layer is cornea. So middle layer is choroid. So this is middle layer. This is middle layer of eyeball. This is middle layer of eyeball. Middle layer of eyeball is thick, pigmented and highly vascular. It is thick, pigmented and it is highly vascular layer. Middle layer is choroid. Choroid is thick. It is thick. It is highly vascular. Thick, highly vascular, and it is pigmented. It is pigmented layer. It is pigmented layer. But this choroid consists of 3 parts. It divides into 3 parts. Choroid. Choroid proper. Then ciliary body. Ciliary body, and third, that is iris. Iris. So this is choroid. Number 1, choroid proper. This is choroid proper. This layer is choroid proper, which line sclera internally. So from this to this is choroid proper. Choroid proper internally lined the sclera. Choroid proper, it is highly vascular. It is highly vascular. Okay. It is pigmented. It is highly vascular. It is pigmented, and it lines the sclera. It lines the sclera, and due to pigments or due to pigmented nature, it prevents internal reflection of light. So choroid proper is pigmented. It is dark in color and it is highly vascular, and its pigmented nature prevents internal reflection. Okay. So this much portion of choroid, this is choroid proper. It is highly vascular. It is pigmented. It is present inner to sclera. It is middle layer of eyeball. It lines sclera, and it, due to its pigmented nature, it prevents internal reflection of light. And this choroid proper provide oxygen and nutrition to retina because of its highly vascular nature. Any difficulty? So choroid proper from this up to this is choroid proper. It is highly vascular. It is thick. It is pigmented, and due to its pigmented nature, it prevents internal reflection of light. Due to its highly vascular nature, it provides oxygen and nourishment to retina, which is innermost layer of eyeball and which is very important. Any difficulty? So we have completed choroid proper, and then ciliary body. So here there is a triangular structure, triangular part, which is called ciliary body. So this is ciliary body. Okay, any difficulty? So right, this is ciliary body. So sclera, and this is choroid, and this is, what is this? This is ciliary body. And see, this is iris. This is iris. So forward segment of ciliary body is iris. Actually, it is a diaphragm, muscular diaphragm, which is perforated at the middle. So let us discuss ciliary body. So this is ciliary body. Ciliary body is the part of choroid. Ciliary body is the part of choroid. See, at the ciliary body is present at the junction of iris and choroid proper. So this is the end of choroid proper, and this is the starting point of iris. So where ciliary body is present? Ciliary body is present at the junction of choroid proper and iris. Ciliary body is a thick triangular portion. It is a thick triangular portion of choroid. Thick triangular portion of choroid is ciliary body. It is muscular. It is muscular. Here muscles are present in the ciliary body. And any difficulty? So where ciliary body is located? Ciliary body this is iris, then this is suspensory ligament. What is this? This is suspensory ligament. Suspensory ligament. Any difficulty? Then this is lens. This is suspensory ligament and ciliary body. Next point. Suspensory ligament attach to eyeball. Suspensory ligament attached to eyeball and suspensory ligament attached to lens. And suspensory ligament holds the lens because lens is suspended in the cavity of eyeball. You know that eyeball is it is hollow structure. Human eye is hollow structure and this lens is suspended in the eyeball, but suspensory ligament, see, this is suspensory ligament which is attached to the eyeball and ciliary body. So this suspensory ligament attached to lens holds the lens in the cavity of eyeball. Then about iris. This structure is iris. So iris is the part of choroid. Choroid consists of three parts: choroid proper, ciliary body and iris. Iris is muscular. It is muscular. It is pigmented. It is muscular pigmented partition. It is muscular pigmented partition. It is muscular pigmented partition and it bends in eyeball. So this is iris. It is muscular, it is colourful, it is pigmented and it is partition and it bends in the inside the eyeball. Color of iris determine the color of eye. Color of eye is depend upon color of iris. Blue eyes, black eyes, brown eyes. So color of eyes depend upon the color of iris. So it gives, iris gives color to eyes. See here, opening is there in front of eyeball. This opening is pupil. This is pupil. This is pupil. Any difficulty? Iris, it's perforated. Iris is perforated in the middle. Perforated in the middle means iris, if this is iris, it has a hole in the middle, and this hole, this opening is called perforation. It is a perforation. So iris is perforated in the middle, called pupil. Called pupil. Any difficulty? So this opening in front of lens, is pupil. Iris is actually, it is a partition, it is diaphragm. Iris is muscular partition, or it is diaphragm. And iris is only colored portion of our eyes. It is muscular. Iris is muscular, and color of eyes depend upon the color of iris, or iris determine color of eyes. Any difficulty? Now muscles. So iris contain muscles, and that muscles regulated the shape of pupil. Any difficulty? So muscles of iris regulated entry of light rays in lens or in eyeball depending upon intensity of light. So pupil is dilated, pupil is contracted. Contraction and dilation of pupil is regulated by muscles of iris. So in the bright light, in the harsh light, pupil is contracted, but in the dim light, pupil is dilated. Okay. So contraction and dilation of pupil, that pupil becomes smaller and pupil become bigger. So that phenomenon is regulated by muscles present in the iris, and that is actually muscles in the iris regulated entry of light rays entering in the eyeball depending upon the intensity of light. If there is a intensity of light is more, then pupil will be contracted. If intensity of light is less, means if the light is dim and objects are not visible clearly, in such conditions pupil is dilated. So muscles of iris control the shape of pupil. Any difficulty? Then about suspensory ligament and muscles of ciliary body. What is the function of suspensory ligament? Suspensory ligament and muscles of iris, suspensory ligament and muscles of iris maintain the shape and size of lens. So shape and size of lens is maintained by suspensory ligament and muscles of ciliary body. Muscles of ciliary body. So here is the suspensory ligament. Suspensory ligament attached to lens, and with the help of suspensory ligament, lens is held in position. Lens is suspended in the cavity of eyeball. So muscles, suspensory ligament and muscles of ciliary body maintain the shape and size of lens inside the eyeball. Any difficulty? So next is lens. Lens is transparent. Lens is transparent and biconvex. Transparent, biconvex and crystalline. It is transparent, it is biconvex and it is crystalline. It is suspended in the cavity of eyeball with the help of suspensory ligament. So this is suspensory ligament and this is lens. So due to lens and suspensory ligament, cavity of eyeball is divided into two chambers. So in front of lens, the cavity which is present in front of lens, this is aqueous chamber. This is cavity of or chamber which is present in front of lens. It is aqueous chamber. It is aqueous chamber. And cavity which is present or chamber which is present behind the lens, it is vitreous chamber. It is vitreous chamber. So cavity of eyeball is divided into two chambers due to presence of lens and suspensory ligament. The cavity which is present in front of lens and behind the cornea, or between lens and cornea, this cavity is aqueous chamber. And the cavity which is present behind the lens, it is vitreous chamber. This aqueous chamber is filled with clear transparent watery fluid called aqueous humor. It is aqueous humor. And vitreous chamber is filled with gelatinous fluid, that is jelly like fluid, that is vitreous humor. Vitreous humor. Here aqueous humor is present and here vitreous humor is present. So aqueous humor is present in the aqueous chamber, vitreous humor is present in the vitreous chamber. Aqueous humor is clear transparent watery fluid, but vitreous humor is jelly like gelatinous fluid. Vitreous humor and aqueous humor. Vitreous humor and aqueous humor both maintain shape of lens, shape of eyeball, maintain shape of eyeball. Vitreous humor and aqueous humor maintain shape of eyeball. Any difficulty? So innermost layer of eyeball is retina, and it is very important layer. Actually these two layers, sclera and choroid, protective layers. These are protective layers. So innermost layer of eyeball is retina. So retina, I am drawing retina. Retina is non-vascular. It is non-vascular. This is retina. So this is this is retina. Innermost layer of eyeball is retina. This is retina. See, retina is incomplete layer. Retina is incomplete layer and choroid is also incomplete layer. Why choroid is incomplete? Here there is a opening. Here there is a interruption. It is not complete. It is interrupted by pupil. Yes, correct. So retina is also incomplete layer. Say retina is continue behind the ciliary body. Retina is continue behind the ciliary body, and I will use the black color for retina. So this is retina. Innermost layer, it is thick but it is non-vascular. Non-vascular means it is devoid of blood vessels and it is nourished by choroid proper, because choroid proper is highly vascular layer. So retina is continue behind ciliary body and behind iris. Retina is continue behind ciliary body and iris. Okay, retina. So this is vitreous chamber. Vitreous chamber. Retina. Innermost layer, it is thick. It is non-vascular, thick non-vascular, and innermost layer of eyeball is retina. So this is retina. This layer is retina. Any difficulty? Retina consists of two layers. Retina consists of two layers. Retina consists of two layers. Outer and inner layer. Outer layer is pigmented layer. Outer layer is pigmented and non-sensory. Pigmented and non-sensory. I will explain all these in detail. Okay, but inner layer is neural layer. It is neural layer and it is sensory. So retina consists of two layers. Outer layer is pigmented and non-sensory. It is thin, and inner layer is neural layer or sensory layer. So please concentrate. See, this is a part of wall of eyeball. So we will magnify this part. This is sclera. If this is sclera, we will go from outside to inside. So sclera, S for sclera. Then this is sclera, and this is choroid, isn't it? This is choroid. Any difficulty? If this is sclera, this is choroid, then the next layer will be retina. Next layer will be retina. So retina itself consists of two layers. So outer layer of retina, this is outer layer of retina. Outer layer of retina is non-sensory. It is non-sensory and it is pigmented. Non-sensory and it is pigmented. And inner layer of retina, this is inner layer of retina. This is inner layer of retina, which is sensory. Inner layer of retina consists of photosensitive cells, rod and cones. This is inner layer of retina. Inner layer of retina consists of three types of cells. Inner layer of retina consists of three types of cells. This is sclera, this is choroid, and this is retina. Retina consists of two layers. Outer layer of retina is pigmented layer. And inner layer of retina is sensory layer. So if this is pigmented layer, okay, this is pigmented layer which is continue behind the ciliary body and behind the iris. This is pigmented layer of retina which is continue behind the ciliary body and behind the iris. So this layer which is continue behind the ciliary body and iris is pigmented layer of retina. Another layer of retina, that is neural layer or sensory layer. This is another layer of retina. This is neural layer or sensory layer, but it is not extend. This is neural layer or this is sensory layer of retina which is not continue behind the ciliary body and behind the iris. The layer of retina which is continue behind the ciliary body and iris is pigmented layer. But this layer, that is sensory layer or a neural layer, is end at this point. So here second layer, that is innermost layer of retina, sensory layer is ends here. Okay. Sensory layer consists of, this is sensory layer of retina or neural layer of retina. It consists of three types of cells. Rod and cones, these are rod cells. Rod and cones. Rod and cone cells. Rod and cone cells. Inner layer of retina consists of three types of cells. Retina, it consists of two layers, outer and inner. Inner layer of retina consists of three types of cells. Number 1, photosensitive cells. Photosensitive cells. Number 2, bipolar cells. Where bipolar cells are present? Bipolar cells are present in the retina of eye. Number 3, ganglion cells. Ganglion cells. So these are rod and cones. These cells are rod and cones. These are cones, cone shaped cells, and these are rods, rod and cone cells. These are light sensitive cells or photosensitive cells. Sensitize light, responsible for sensation of light. Rod and cones are responsible for sensation of light, and hence these are called photosensitive cells. These are called photosensitive cells. Then next layer is of bipolar cells. Next layer is of bipolar cells. So these are bipolar cells. These are bipolar cells. Bipolar cells. These are bipolar cells. Dendrons. Bipolar cells. Photosensitive cell, that is rod and cones. Bipolar cells, so these are bipolar cells. Horizontal cells are present here. Here horizontal cells are present. Horizontal cells. Horizontal cells are responsible for secretion of neurotransmitters. Horizontal cells. And the next layer will be ganglion cells. Here these are ganglion cells. Ganglion cells. Synapse. So ganglion cells synapse with bipolar cells. Ganglion cells. Fibers of ganglion cells will form optic nerve. Fibers of ganglion cell will form optic nerve. Optic nerve. Once again, retina is the innermost layer of eyeball. It consists of two layers. Outer layer of retina, which is present below the choroid, is non-sensory layer, or it is pigmented layer, which is continue behind the ciliary body and iris. Inner layer of retina is neural layer, or it is sensory layer. It is neural layer or sensory layer. It is responsible for sensation of light and generation of impulse. Responsible for sensation of light and generation of impulse. Sensory layer consists of three types of cells. These are photosensitive cells or light sensitive cells. Photosensitive cells are of two types, rod and cones. Rod shaped cells are called rod and cone shaped cells are called cones. Then these are ganglion cells, these are bipolar cells. Bipolar cells, and these are horizontal cells. Then the next layer is of ganglion cells. These are ganglion cells, and here amacrine cells are present. Here is the amacrine cells. Amacrine cells and horizontal cells, which are found in the retina, these two types of cells are responsible for secretion of neurotransmitters, neurosecretions. Okay, so this is retina. And fibers from ganglion cells form optic nerve. Form optic nerve. See, this is these cells are light sensitive cells, but in the retina, light sensitive cells are situated deeply. Light sensitive cells are situated deeply. So when light rays fall on the retina, light rays pass through first ganglion cell, then bipolar cell before reaching the photosensitive cells. Okay. Retina consists of two types of cells, rod cells and cone cells. Retina consists of two types of cells, rod cells and cone cells. Cone cells. Cone cells. Cone cells responsible for daylight vision. Daylight vision. Cone cells are responsible for daylight vision and color vision. We can see different colors due to cone cells. Daylight vision is called photopic vision. So cone cells are responsible for daylight vision and color vision. Cone cells are of three types. Cone cells are of three types, and that three types of cone cells contains their characteristic pigments. Cone cells contain pigments, different types of pigments. So cone cells are of three types, and that cone cells contain their characteristic pigments, and due to cone cells basically we can see green light, green color, then red color and blue color. So we can see these three colors due to cones, but we can see different shades of colors, orange, then pink color, light blue color. So we can see different shades of color due to combination of different types of cones and their pigments. Okay, but the white color, what is? We can see white color due to equal and simultaneous combination of these three types of cone cells and these three types of pigments. Rod cells. Next photosensitive cells are rod cells. Rod cells. Rod cells are responsible for dim light vision. For dim light vision, that is called scotopic vision. Rod cells contain purple red pigment, that is rhodopsin. Rod cells contain purple red pigment, that is rhodopsin, and rhodopsin is vitamin A derivative. Rhodopsin is vitamin A derivative. Here is the yellow area. So this is blind spot. This is blind spot. This blind spot is present at the region of optic nerve, where optic nerve and blood vessels leave the eyeball, at that portion blind spot is present. So this is blind spot. Here image does not form because here rod and cone cells are absent. This is blind spot. Okay, any difficulty? So why it is called blind spot? Because here rod and cones are absent, and rod and cone cells are responsible for sensation of light. So here rod and cone cells are absent, so here there is no sensation of light, there is no formation of image, so it is blind spot. Above the blind spot, yellow area is present, and this is called Macula Lutea. Macula Lutea. This yellow area or yellow spot is Macula Lutea. Macula Lutea has a depression, and that depression is called fovea. This is Macula Lutea. Macula Lutea is yellow spot which is present near the optic nerve, above the optic nerve, and this Macula Lutea has central depression, and this depression is called fovea. It is called fovea. Here it is the area of sharpest vision. Fovea and Macula Lutea, it is the area of sharpest vision because here cone cells are densely packed. Here cone cells are densely packed, and hence it is the region of sharpest vision. So highest number of cone cells are found in the Macula Lutea, and hence it is called sharpest vision area. Any difficulty? And this is the optic nerve. This is optic nerve. Optic nerve and blood vessels leaves the eyeball from slightly middle of the eyeball. So this is the middle axis, central axis or middle axis, and near the middle axis of eyeball, here is the optic nerve, and this is optic nerve. Optic nerve leaves the eyeball. Optic nerve, here blood vessels are there. Okay. Light rays enter through the conjunctiva, then through the cornea, then through the lens, and focusing on the retina. And image is formed on the retina. Impulses are produced, and that impulses are carried out by optic nerve to the visual area of cerebrum, that is occipital lobe. In the visual area of cerebrum, impulses are analyzed and image form on the retina is recognized, and in this way we can see the object, we can recognize the image. Okay, so in this way we have completed the structure and function of human eye.